So I was okay until about 2 minutes ago. First, thank you all for being here, both in person and those online, to help us celebrate what has certainly been quite a life. Dads. There are many kinds. My wife's dad, Denton, for example, is a teacher. And God bless him, to him, every conversation is a teaching moment. How to properly hold a tool, how to better over-engineer the heck out of something. Or he would recount the history of the placement of the light over the bunk bed, or the screw in the wall that was sticking out just so for a very specific purpose. I love Denton. I love my own dad too. My dad, he took me to Boy Scouts, to piano lessons, to hockey. I remember fondly we watched MASH and Adam 12 over poached eggs. But I don't remember him teaching me how to fish, to repair our car, or to build things with my own hands, or even how to pass skills like those on to others. Now, he may have. I'm just saying my memories of those early years are starting to get foggy, and that makes me sad. Dad, as you know, was a musician, a singer, and an accountant. He didn't teach me how to play the piano, but he did imbue me with a love of music. He didn't even teach me how to do my own taxes. I learned that through trial and error like the rest of you. He didn't teach me how to sing, let alone in harmony with others. Even though he spent much of his adult life bringing out the best in that regard in many of you through barbershop and choral groups. I like to think that I was auditioning for him when I used to sing myself to sleep at night. I remember though as a young child while I was in my bedroom crying and vomiting from the flu, with his quartet practicing next door in the living room. Although Dad had perfect pitch, it took him a long time to differentiate between my heaving and my early attempts at singing. But Dad was a different kind of teacher. He set an example to be followed. I imagine we are not unlike other families. We've had our share of strife and family drama over the years. And through it all, right or wrong, he taught me to internalize strong emotions and to sacrifice or even to hurt in silence. Maybe not the best lesson. But he also taught me to love and to respect others and to do so unconditionally. He taught me how to be good. He was kind to everyone, and to him, everyone was somebody. And he could work the room like the best of them. Dad was also strong-willed, to the point of being stubborn. I see some nodding heads. He refused to be held back even when his own failing body over the last 10 to 15 years was telling him so. He walked again when they said that he never would. He continued to sing despite risk with certain surgeries before which they warned him he might lose that too. He could barely bend over, but he weeded and gardened to the end, and even if that meant he had to preemptively lie down in the grass so he wouldn't fall over while doing it, that's what he did. Or that's what he told us after we found him lying there. His hugs were the best. Dad taught me how to laugh, and more importantly, to see the good in everyone and the fun in every situation. Perhaps it was a coping mechanism to reduce or avoid conflict with others, or to distract himself from stress, or to exude confidence when it needed to be shored up. But I think it was just that Dad simply loved people, and to entertain others, and to drag smiles out of even the grumpiest of us. Dad loved the best of the dumbest dad jokes he could tell. But more, he loved his puns and his wordplay. And he got that from his dad, Grandpa Sherwood, who called them groaners, as they weren't meant to elicit a belly laugh, but the mirth was meant to sneak up on you slowly. My mom reminded me the other day while reminiscing about Dad that he and his 4 best friends, Mike, Don, Scott, and Dennis, Mike and Scott are here today. They called themselves Clowns Incorporated. And they had their own calling card, aptly inscribed with ashes to ashes, dust to dust, our sense of humor will never rust. And it never did. And I am my father's son. Dad was lying there intubated, hooked up to a ventilator. I held his hands in his hand. I couldn't reach the other one. Julie had that one. I held it in his last hours and commented out loud to the nurse there in the ICU that the respiratory therapist that kept coming in and out, she seemed overworked. Nobody would give her a breather. He smiled. I think Dad and Grandpa would have approved of that one. My dad died the morning of August 30th, on my 53rd birthday. Being with him for his final moments was sincerely the greatest gift I could have asked for. For those 14 hours, I was 5 years old again, simply holding his hand and sitting there reliving a lifetime of memories with my sister Julie, all of us full of that unconditional love that he had taught me about and always shown us. After he had composed, choreographed, and directed his 79 years of life on this earth, Dad took his final bow at 6:27 that morning. And I know as he did, he was stepping back and sweeping his arm in that one final gesture towards all of us on the stage with him, humbly passing credit away from himself and back towards all of us, his chorus, his family, his friends, his co-workers, his clients, most of whom were friends. His legacy of a lifetime of love. I already miss him. None of us thought that he would run out of encores. I am a proud Canadian Army officer, but the nautical example seems fitting here. Rest easy now, Dad. We have the watch.